A nice chapbook by Zara Rab. Something called The Report from Iron Mountain on the Possibility and Desirability of Peace. The History of Love.
And the best of all, Jan Mercatani, who is a brilliant poet and helps Cecil Williams write Glide.
Yes, it helps him run Glide.
Yeah.
So, and then there's a whole bunch more here.
That's quite an advertisement.
So there's quite a selection. So you stay around if you can till the bitter end.
Yeah, it's okay.
If you haven't signed in, there'll be a chance to do that in the intermission. So without further ado, we'll start. And our first readers are Buford Bunting, Ricardo Luna, and Owen Dunkel. Let's give them
First up is the great Jan Mercatani, poet laureate of San Francisco, a couple of poets back. Progeny. The Gulf War was engaged in January 1991. Emergency phones were set up at Glide Church, San Francisco, to provide support and information about conscription rights to young men and women of draft age. Why have they shipped 10,000 body bags to Saudi Arabia? That's just the thing at the top. Here's the poem for real. She called on the Gulf War Crisis Hotline. I answered, wanting to be useful. Going mad, she said. My tomatoes are rotting in my refrigerator. Such a waste, says she. They've turned off my electricity. She is furious at inconsiderate people who steal her SSI checks from her mailbox, leaving the dogs unleashed to piss on her stairs. Without the rain, the smell rises up like a disease. In drought, the ants are bold in their search for water and blacken her shelves. She weeps. I ask if she is alone. No, I am not alone, she screams. 1,000 ants seek out my tears. My son is in the Persian Gulf, unheard of for 5 weeks. He enlisted when he turned 18, and why not? No jobs here. Enlist, travel, be among a few good men. Such a waste, said she. Food rotting in a poor refrigerator. And the people, the rages, drive too fast, waste gasoline, bullets, burn up rubber, and why won't it rain? She tells me she lost her husband to Vietnam. Oh no, she says, not over here. He was not a military casualty with the telegram and the flag folded like a pastry turnover on his name on the black wall where she had mourned nationally. No, he left the emptiness of his eyes and night sweats and finally to the friendly fire of heroin. And my son, she said, was taught how his father, a patriot, was a loyal American among few good men. To my son, so my son could follow in his footsteps. Such a waste, she weeps. Those tomatoes rotting in my dark, hot refrigerator. And here's my tiny little memoir after all that. This is called College Women and My Moving On. There were others, but 2 primary college girlfriends. The first of the women I had gone out with was named Connie. The other one was Joan. Both women wanted to get married soon after they went out with me. I had not had very many serious lovers, none sexually before this time, that being my junior and senior years as an undergraduate at the University of South Alabama in my hometown of Mobile, an overprotective southern town where parents did their best to keep their children from growing into adulthood, unless it was on the parents' terms. My parents broke down in their overprotectiveness in this way. My mother wanted us to go out and live on our own, just stay in Mobile if at all possible. My father would have preferred that we never left home. I am not sure how that would have worked. I guess he would have built onto the old ramshackle house in the way he did to accommodate his 6 kids and in-laws. Just tack on rooms without hallways. Connie, who had a syrupy, thick southern accent but beautiful green eyes and black hair, would call, and my mother took a message from her, and she would imitate Connie's voice. She said, "Connie called." My mother was about as urban as one could expect to be, having grown up beginning in 1918 in downtown Mobile, where my grandfather worked as a foreman for the creosote treatment plant. Connie wasn't too urban, just fond of me, along with another fellow she went out with to make me jealous. Or it was just the 70s, and people were promiscuous, and women were becoming liberated. I had no intention of getting married at 21 years old with her at 20. So she went with a more established and slightly older boyfriend. Slightly older meaning 21 or 22. She married that guy around that time. Okay, I'm not done.
Now Ricardo Luna, Owen Dunkel, and then Jack O'Neill. Ricardo, listen to me.
All right.
Thank you. For magic, look to the Lord only. I want to say hi to my family. Hi Monique, hi Naisha, hi Kamisha, hi Gail, hi Dave, hi Corley, hi Cynthia, hi Sophia, hi Shinobi, and hi to my children. Hi King, hi Queen, hi Sean, hi Camardi. I love you Terrence, hi T, hi Arkell, hi
I'm glad
Jake.
you're all here.
I love your dad, love your cousin Rich, love your brother Rich. Sunday morning urban. Light. Spring in view. Celebration. Love American poet. Love Charles.
Ricardo, could you pull the mic up a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit hard to hear. Yeah, thank you.
I would say hi to Maxie. I was out at Alcatraz today. When's the last time San Franciscans took that tour out to Alcatraz? It's pretty cool. And I went with the purpose of going to see where our Native American sisters and brothers occupied that federal property from 1969 to 1972. It's kind of somewhere about in those years. And I read about, I watched, I was educated on Mr. Trudell's leadership in the American Indian movement, led by Mr. Leonard Peltier, the great Native American activist, hero, revolutionary hero, red revolutionary hero, an American hero. And incidentally, Mr. Peltier did not murder 2 FBI agents as his character was assassinated as to be. As a matter of fact, in Dan Leo's Corrupt Witness Protection Program, just like when Mr. O.J. Simpson was sitting right there and Nicole Brown Simpson walked in, supposed to be dead, they were hidden in Dan Leo's Corrupt FBI Witness Protection Program. Those 2 FBI agents were sitting in court. Because of those corrupt laws, innocent men were being prosecuted. I wrote Iran, and I included a character, Maxie, and it's about our people. It's about moral core. It's about not being fed the image bullshit. It's about when times get to the point where revolution is needed, and you're not being led in, standing strong. And I've also been thinking a little bit about the civil rights movements of the 1960s, and how at the end of the day they were in agreement, but down at the grassroots level, people weren't understanding each other enough, or maybe they were, but it wasn't getting to the top. There wasn't that unity there then. You know, man wasn't gay, you know, and that was the patriarchalism of the 1960s civil rights movement that kind of put a stop on things. At the end of the day, USA, the end. This is titled Jimmy Walker's Art, Chicana Black Power. Thelma's tits, Thelma's curves, Thelma is loud. Bondage, the down low, disease, soul destruction. She's single, and she's powerless. James Baldwin's myth, the myth of the matriarch. Our people, Maxi, activist. Black power. Done. God's gift to humanity. Dream state. 1. Black power, led by black intellectualism, our American government's basis, reparations, redistribution of wealth, end corruption, man is gay, get out, stay out, love Trinity. Where does it start with reparations? Our sisters, our African American sisters, our Native American sisters. America, one people, believe. I want to thank our Native American sisters and brothers who led that occupation of Alcatraz. I learned a lot today, and I left a looted poem there. I want to make sure that their movement's leadership is understood as to be very important in Red Revolution history. Thank you. Believe, like President Butler, America, one people, love rich.
Next is Owen Dunkel, followed by Jack O'Neill, Jimmy Mankind, and Bill Murphy. Come on, Owen.
Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Couplet for a cathedral. Sad buttresses fly across the air. It careens erratically upward to reach for a god of sky. I'll read you from my chapbook, Tide Sing Out Cry. Rocks awakening. Little men out to sea, fishing invisible, their tongues at quiet pacing, the determined hours upon the quiet soft sand. The obsequious waves still lull me to heaven. Milieu, Pashim, and terrace, salt on the dew of the woods of manna, manna, manna. Cry windward the sperm's rock soil of true endeavor, selfhood, survival of the fittest lying quietly on the sand. Kelp rocks barter no more their abalone fervor to please the rich posies and posies of Tide Sing Out Cry. Sonnet 2. The way I should have taken away in a wise I took today, in a profound sort of way, in a funny way, the heart forsaken and feelings quieted by the unshaken, quiet, firm fruit. Chances we may see through the air. We say we are breathing lust, awaken the raw, rare tooth of raw soot of the penetration of 20 valises laden with eons of our raw root. We eschew the strength of heavy sneezes. We swarm to the air like bees and flies, our hungry hearts open to truth and lies. Howls slack, harumps, harking, hacking, wheezing out to all the calm sweetness, penance pecking, forbearance of the shark's dandelion. Come as it may mean nothing, Phoebus, nothing to it that bringeth the brazen coitus of the meadowlarken vine. A new education. We walk the worlds we walk in wonder like the barefoot, united, wide-eyed wanderer of Pilgrim's Progress, caught in the net that catches fish in the ocean. Much like an electric train at sea, sands, pinions, and pennants, lords and ladies of the chance of the day of fire and delight. Men become seraphim, women fast and pray for their denarii to fly them to heaven. Mine soars Oz. Let the raven's lust be young, cows mourn their unconscionable loss, sheep gaze to lichen moss, snakes stay forever in tune, quiet among rocks, weeds, adobe. Trail sometime we say our prayers, we toss like old coins and Baudelaire's cross. He stood for a crucifix, rung like bells, the bells rung outward to heaven, no more the burden we on earth pour ourselves, and leeward sand the soil, the awful toil we see, touch, think, let go for the complete, the instant, complete satori, then ignore. Little order. Lust on the shelves of worry and wind, turn on the sand and the fey plumage of the waves, and toss again to the swooning barrenness of the sand and kelp I talk to in this time of surrender of my kiss of need to a lie. The wondrous domain of the dark rain we run to and hope for the terror of the stars. Dashing back to the heavy, swirling, wondrous sand, the quiet sand, the sea we should dance in and sing to in merry mock derision. Panis Angelicus, we sing alive to thee. Begin anew, awkward age permeates its spring. Joy beckons the reef of the atoll of merrymakers and wine-bibbers, chanting their glib awareness to reeds and new knowledge of the barbarians. When in the cycle of new life began, born again, to black clouds recreate the moments of mercy and truth to all living and still swimming wolfishly alone in our feverish and selfish reminiscence of the blue void.
Thanks so much. Next is Jack O'Neill.
This one's called Hollow Earth. The book said that aliens come from inside the hollow earth. The proteans, superhumans without apostrophe. I'm inclined to believe that as much as anything else. Fate, that and a grave with a door. Whence else upon the fast of thieving? Erasures, prizes you daren't miss. No source of bitterness too great for your door. Come, 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 thou obviously greater than the louse, and join the pleasant. In the dream, XYI had memories. X-rays of them were hung on the light box on the wall, clipped at the top by the doctor. Then, of course, it's a dream with an E, close brackets, close parentheses. They were real, my memories there, and they opened at the top coming forward and then swinging down as on a hinge.
to reveal the devil faces, horns to gore, and eyes to pierce, and grins to discomfit. Joinery, connection, connectors, practice, competence, edifice. Like wells and skylights, and H, pronounced in the old way with an H, like putting hay in H-y, like each end of the in-between, like there is no neck, only a spine, with a head on top, grown out of a pelvis on hip balls. And last, a tree in the sand, a tree in the sand at the beach, a tree in the sand at the beach from a stick, a tree in the sand at the beach from a stick touching the water. Thank you.
Hardly ever use the mic, but I feel like it tonight, I think. Can you, is this a help, or is this just the same? Sounds the same to me.
If you want it on the internet.
Oh, on the internet.
Lift it up.
Oh, I'm gonna do odd to you.
Okay.
Lift it up.
Dispatch from the deep in Nation of Taxi. I wonder where all the lyrics went. To taxi lyrics? Where people make up stuff, home of more BS than you want to hear your whole life? The king of taxi. Off into the cement paradise that is Frisco at night. My reveries fly faster than my taxi. I rave ideas, I marry invention to fantasy. I fly on like a robotic machine through streets of gold, streets of dreck, into the void, seeking only relics from my mullah work. I am wetback, I am courier, I am smuggler, yeg, my own cop, Siddhartha in modern flesh. I transport people without judgment all night. Clandestine, oath breakers, dealers, addicts, runaways, bacchanalers, legal and outlier. Alone, I apply the same limits to myself. I tell my mind, fly, little man, do your thing. You're the king of taxi. Float this beast 6 inches above the planet in this nation of taxi, and let your mind roam, the sound of the wind pouring through from the windy caves of Rote. Release all constraint, keep us on the road, Pilato. Do not pick up a barfer or kill anyone, but listen to the music. Chosen by target audience preferences, by focus groups for the mighty Corpo Sheen. Chosen by the whims of Junior League jewels of the ownership society. Chosen by love, by greed, by board, by gourd, scored by revolts long forgotten. Grown over with the green gross of money. Chosen by age, by bet, by lyrics lost to chords. Words as notes, struck, beats, beat. That's 5.
Yeah, but keep going.
That's the front part. Okay. Lyric, lyre, Mercury, Apollo, Asimotlo, core, Panapple, forgetfulness, under Nepentham's shies, the forgetfulness of sorrows, sung by choral muses, chosen by coincidology. They like any answer. Or you can aim your iPhone at the radio, and in 10 seconds you'll know the group, the song title. You'll not know the lyrics. You can get that, but you'll have to take your eyes off the road. And is there a little screen near the top of the dash that goes with this car? And rail mix, the trail mix, dope mix, mixtape, Uncle Tom mix. I call it Java for the soul. A cheap taxi budget radio, not designed to be state froth heart. It shows the names, also sometimes the singers, art pieces, all. But what I want is the words, escaped little birds, lost to the chillier nights of ignorance and rhythm. The pounding in my brain. I'm a wee writing wordsmith, and when the words are absconded by the bosom of the music, I freak a little bit and wonder who's hugging those words of death, who's sucking them down. I lament that lost message I might be suckling now. Louie Louie comes to mind. What do they say? Or wrapped up in the middle of the night like a douche, cooch, pooch? Ouch. So a pretty lady hops in and I tell her all this about coincidality, the ocean, us. And we barely remember where we're going. I ask if she wants to become a millionaire. She says, who do I have to kill? What monster do I have to give birth to? I laugh, nothing like that. But wouldn't you like to point your cell phone at the radio and have a lyric strung out on the ceiling here, where I wave my sticky hand across the smoky ceiling linen, and Lyrica's own hologram. I ask for you to shout or sing according to your abilities or according to your needs. Wouldn't that make the world a better place? So we don't get fooled again. Yeah, awesome. She meant great. She meant groovy. It's only an app away, the theory of coincidology. I know the flow. Do you know the flow? Oh yeah, and the end of the establishment, and the start of a new one, right after we make this one last deal. We'll hire 10,000 yuppies and move the music industry app-wise back to Detroit, where all the songwriters went to die. Wow, she says, impressed. What's an app? She asked me wide-eyed. Not everyone here in Technophilia is included in the acknowledge-ship society. We're the ones who write the lyrics from out under the outskirts. Outlaid, outplayed for the feel of it. Just flying through. Just visit. On planet number... forget.
Thanks, Jimmy. That was really a great poem. I love the part where you go, I want the words escape like birds. Beautiful. Very good.
I like it flying around.
That's what it's like.
So much wonderful language. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to read one of my own, a little short one, and a couple of other little short ones over here. Does it hurt to be blasted to pieces in an airliner? To quickly become a scale from Philip Glass as you descend straight down like a space capsule on the end, returning by gravity to your Mother Earth where you belong? Will you ever rest in peace? A river of tears that flows like the melting glacier on Mount Shasta, eternal, solid, liquid, gas. And the memory of you becomes part of the culture like native tales passed down from generation to generation. In this way, you must live forever, playing your part in the astonishing story that goes on and on, approaching forever. And then I was looking up who was born, what poets were born this week, and I found Hart Crane, who's lived 1899 to 1932, committed suicide. He was a gay man in that era who had, we say it was an alcoholic. And anyway, I printed out one of these. It's called Forgetfulness by Hart Crane. Forgetfulness is like a song that, freed from beat and measure, wanders. Forgetfulness is like a bird whose wings are reconciled, outspread, and motionless. A bird that coasts the wind unwearyingly. Forgetfulness is rain at night, or an old house in a forest, or a child. Forgetfulness is white, white as a blasted tree, and it may stun the civil into prophecy or bury the gods. I can remember much forgetfulness. Another one from this book by Janice Mirakatani, called For My Father. He came over the ocean carrying Mount Fuji on his back, Tule Lake on his chest, hacked through the brush of deserts and made them grow strawberries. We stole berries from the stem, we could not afford them for breakfast. His eyes held nothing as he whipped us for stealing. The desert had dried his soul. Wordless, he sold the rich, full berries to haiku genus, whose children pointed at our eyes. They ate fresh strawberries with cream. Father, I wanted to scream at your silence. Your strength was a stranger I could never touch. Iron in your eyes to shield the pain, to shield desert-like wind from patches of strawberry grown from tears. And next we'll have Marcia Campbell, Louis Martin, and then we'll have our feature, Harold Terrazin.
All right, Marcia.
I like that carrying Mount Fuji on his back.
Good.
You are myself, selfhood, liveliness, drawing lines in the sand made of crushed rivers. You are my tender world. I want a chair that I may sit beside you and feel your spirit, lift against the storms of everyday loneliness. Walking with sore feet against cement and rubble, I saw a creature struggling to rise by his knees and elbows with the greatest determination to remain conscious. I walked by him, afraid that if I looked back, he would fall. Then I would fall. His formerly frantic legs lost their step. Their crash against the ground was noiseless, unbearable. The creature's face and hands burned his jacket bright blue. They hung on him like loose skin. There were passers-by balancing bravely on the twisting sidewalk below their gaze. But he was the one who refused again, time and time again, to die, and die again.
We're back to introduce Bill Mercer and then Louis Martin.
Looks like what the Freudian slip there. So I was sitting in a cafe a couple of days ago, minding my own business, and up jumped this poem and slap. So I thought I'd read it and see if it gets to slap any of you guys. This is by Wendell Berry. It's Manifesto, the Mad Farmer Liberation Front. Love the quick profit, the annual raise, vacation with pay. Want more of everything, ready-made. Be afraid to know your neighbor and to die. And you will have a window in your head. Not even your future will be a mystery anymore. Your mind will be punched in a card and shut away in a little drawer. When they want you to buy something, they will let you know. When they want you to die for profit, they will let you know. So, friends, every day do something that won't compute. Love the Lord, love the world, work for nothing, take all that you have and be poor. Love someone who does not deserve it. Denounce the government and embrace the flag. Hope to live in that free republic for which it stands. Give your approval to all you cannot understand. Praise ignorance, for what man has not encountered, he has not destroyed. Ask the questions that have no answers. Invest in the millennium. Plant sequoias. Say that your main crop is the forest that you did not plant and will not live to harvest. Say that the leaves are harvested when they have rotted in the mold. Call that prophet. Prophesy such returns. Put your faith in the 2 inches of humus that will build under the trees every 1,000 years. Listen to the carrion. Put your ear close and hear the faint chattering of songs that are to come. Expect the end of the world. Laugh. Laughter is immeasurable. Be joyful, though you have considered all the facts. So long as women do not go cheap for power, please women more than men. Ask yourself, will this satisfy a woman satisfied to bear a child? Will this disturb the sleep of a woman near to giving birth? Go with your love to the fields. Lie easy in the shade. Rest your head in her lap. Swear allegiance to what is nighest in your thoughts. As soon as the generals and politicos can predict the motions of your mind, lose it. Leave it as a sign to mark the false trail, the way you didn't go. Be like the fox who makes more tracks than necessary, some in the wrong direction. Practice resurrection.
All right, Louis.
Aimed right at my mouth. This is called Google. Cool lies, plain truth. Whoa, dude. I didn't think you'd spot me there or feel my touch. You say you want your wallet back. Ha! Fat chance. I'm no ordinary pickpocket, you know. I am the pickpocket, the Grand Master, the pickpocket of all pickpockets. I pick brains too, of course. I am the picker of all brains. I am the brain that picks the brains, the brain that picks the brains that picks the brains. And I'm also Big Brother, or Big Brother of Big Brother, to be more exact. You know Big Brother. Mr. Orwell told you about him. But I am Big Brother of Big Brother. You can also think of me as Big Sister of Big Sister, Sister Supreme. The times they change, don't they? But not the plots, little fellow. It's still money and power, money and power. But back to your wallet. You didn't know who was there, did you? Mr. Orwell suspected Big Brother had an accomplice. But he never spotted me because, well, I'm no ordinary thief. I am like Feynman's subatomic particles living a dual existence, or maybe I should say an infinite number of simultaneous existences. I'm as hard to spot as the Higgs boson and even harder to apprehend. Spot me somewhere and poof, I'm no longer there. Ha! I always have an alibi no matter what anyone says. In fact, I have many alibis. I can pick your pocket or brain. And I can pick 10, 100, 1,000, any number of pockets or brains at the same time. What a deal, huh? I am wired to win in any situation. Only losers refuse complicity in my ruses. In older times I was called a swarm of flies or a pack of lies, maggots multiplying or a pile of you-know-what. Some even called me Beelzebub. Beelzebub, that's shorter, I guess. Why describe the attributes of an object if you can give it a nifty name like that? But you can call me Google or Google. or the great Google boondoggle, as long as you don't ask her for your money back. Sorry about that, but it's mine now. And it's really your fault, this whole situation. Let me explain. You see, Googolians, that's what we call you here, in the cheery white fortress in the valley of friendly deception, are not very bright. Didn't you know that my answers to your questions, you call them search results, I think, are all bogus? You say bias, I say bogus, same thing. Why didn't you slow down? Quit saying cool, awesome, and think a little. Is it too uncool to think in your hyperactive, super-connected world of icon idolatry? Let me ask you, is the best restaurant guide for a district in San Francisco saying North Beach the homepage of some particular restaurant? Does restaurant equal guide? Try it. Ask me about San Francisco restaurant guide North Beach. No, but that didn't stop you from going to Open Table, making a reservation, then going there for dinner. You even told your social media friends it was fucking awesome. when in plain language, it was mediocre. Any idea how much money I made from duping you? And is the best headache medication the pharmaceutical equivalent of heroin? Dude, did you not wonder about taking Oxy H+++ after ODing in the ambulance ride to San Francisco General Hospital? Didn't that fucking suck? Where's your review on that, citizen journalist? You end up in the emergency room and I score big time. Who's the best damn dealer in the hood? You bet Big Doc G. And whose fault is that, little G? Who doesn't stop for a moment to think? Who's too busy pushing buttons? And as for my reading your email, man, come on. You knew about that all along. Wasn't it obvious when all those ads for stuff you asked me about showed up on every web page you looked at, even in your email? Did you really think it was cool or awesome when I put almost every real news organization out of business by stealing their content with a couple of tricksters called AdWords and AdSense, the heart of the antitrust darkness, their advertising revenues? Oh yes, I left a few of the big boys standing, but how anemic they are now. If they were dogs, I would shoot them. Even I feel sorry for them sometimes when there is nothing worth reading. Grow up. And quit blaming me for having to read buzz, not news, and a bunch of dreadful blogs paid for by politicians, special interest groups, and corporate America. You applauded me when I destroyed the good guys, shredded their livelihood, and put them out in the street. Remember? Way to go, Google! Children, you helped usher in the age of nonsense. But maybe you can help me out on this one, because I just don't get it. Did you really believe that history no longer mattered in the digital age of pierced ears and tattoos, that logic was a burdensome restriction of free thought, that philosophy was the domain of low achievers and sexless saps, and that the age-old masterpieces of art could be improved by computer animation and blaring hip-hop intimidation? Email me your answer on that one, okay? I promise not to share it with anyone else. Ha! Now let's talk Google Glass and self-driving cars. Little Googolian, with all the money I made stealing content, what else could I do? I have none of my own. Advertising monopolies that would make the big four sick with jealousy. I have money to burn for all my pet projects, which are really the hobbies of spoiled children who can't get enough attention. Here, put on these glasses and let's go for a spin. Gonna be fucking awesome, dude. You'll forget about evil deeds, deception, and who knows what else. Want to watch a little porno while we spin around the valley? San Jose, Santa Clara, Mountain View, Palo Alto, Mountain View. We've got that too. Just go to imagesgoogle.com and enter young naked girls. Didn't I tell you? We're the king of porno too. The largest pornography site in the world. Didn't you notice the monitoring device on my ankle? Okay, well, you better not be gone too long. And don't tell me you then Googled. We have great lawyers, the best judges money can buy, and a cozy relationship with the Federal Trade Commission. Merci.
Now we're really lucky to have our feature, Harold Terrazon. Let's give him a hand. He was fast at the very last.
Good evening. Thank you for staying. My name is Harold Terrazon. I'm actually a middle school poetry teacher. And also, I'm going to be teaching poetry for the people at CTSF in the fall, so you're welcome to stop by and register, or just register in general. The first piece I'm going to be reading is called Karma. Raul told me that any fool that recites poetry to a girl has a chance with her. But if he writes her a poem and sounds like Neruda in Spanish, that fool is surely going to get laid that night. Because even if you don't mean what he wrote, girls eat that shit up. So at 18, long before I met you, I handwrote you an emulation of Neruda's 20th in Spanish. And as any 18-year-old would make with his hands fixed on lips, eyes on hips, lips on ears, and in the front yard, just below the leaves of a pepper tree. En esta noche te prometí el diseño de mi cielo, mi último anhelo, mi deseo de tu cuerpo y alma. Now, I'm not going to say it was all Shakespeare, but for a first piece of writing, that first poem I wrote you was off the hook. I surprised myself. I really didn't know I had it in me. Even my Spanish was legit, especially for how limited it was. Raul read it, then he said that no bitches were putting all that work and heart into anything. And then he went on and really pissed me off. He left with my only copy of My Love for You. Then that motherfucker went home and rewrote word for word every promise, desire, angst, desperation, and he carefully folded the poem neatly into an envelope and handed it over to Lydia, who he'd been wanting to hook up for a while. And it was my desire for your body and soul she fucked that night, and the next week. It was the most wonderfully fucked up relationship he had ever been in. Sex anywhere, anytime, before class, after, between. In their cars, the parents' house, the park, on the roof of his dorm during finals. That fool was so pussy-whipped even in the church parking lot during mass. Too bad relationships aren't just about fucking all the time. Otherwise, they would have been set. So after about a month, reality kicked in and they couldn't go 10 minutes without arguing about some stupid shit like where she was at, where he was at, and who the fuck is that hood rat or motherfucker they were talking to. Soon they were arguing as much as they were fucking. Sometimes I think they fucked just to stop fighting. And after each time, he pulled out my poem with my promises to you and read it to her as if it would make everything good again. And of course, it did, because you know my love for you was some powerful shit. It worked for a while too, but that fool needed some new material and I wasn't about to go sharing any more love for you with him again. I didn't want to, but when he asked and offered money to write him some new poems, I took it because, well, I needed money. So I wrote him some half-ass rhyming crap because their relationship was not worth putting any real effort into. So no matter how much Vicks Vapor Rub they applied or how much 7-Up they drank, there was no way to save what they had. So I didn't have to see Raul's face to feel the devastation of his world collapsing the night we went clubbing. I wrote those promises Raul made himself eventually believe in. I obsessed over every word, syllable, punctuation, simile, metaphor, sensual allusion for days and weeks, like my hands, arms, legs, lungs, and my left intestine all depended on the perfect execution of that poem. And he walked off with my love for you and gave it away like with some cheap-ass Hallmark card you just signed your name at the bottom of. And I didn't have the chance to show it to you, read it to you the way I had planned. The walkway of the dam near sunset overlooking the valley. And it's not like he gave a shit about returning my poem to me either. I quit asking because at some point he kept saying he had lost it. So I knew exactly what he felt when he saw Lydia grinding up some other fool under the disco lights that night. I leaned into him and said, "Karma's a bitch, ain't it?" Recently, I was asked to write a poem for Celia Cruz, and this is what I came up with. It's called Guajira. Celia, I sing wishes into ocean like roots returning home, like listening for the radio to play your song. Celia, Mom said cabal de enamorado como tu papá when I took you, Celia, from Dad's treasured collection of cassettes in his closet after I heard him playing in his car on the way back from playing with snow in the mountains. I don't know if he played you because of Jose Marti or because he reminisced of home too, but I sang with you, Celia, softly watching the snow-covered chaparral fly by. I longed for the sea of white rose, old friends, and a simple life for my soul. I carried in back pockets of jeans, waiting for a chance to play you full blast on a boombox or car stereo. I played you until your voice unraveled from the cassette's plastic shell. Mom grabbed the pencil, took you from my hand, Celia, and inserted the eraser into a spool. Slowly, carefully, not to fold or rip the magnetic strip. No hay de llorar, she said, handing you back to me, Celia. I ran into my sister's room, popped you back in the boombox and pushed play. Celia, I dance on palm trees, in rivers and skies. My hopes fly wistful and brave like a first kiss, for walls broken in by fists. So I've been writing a lot about superheroes, and I have a series of them. And this one is why can't Spider-Man be one of us, as in a brown person from LA? Because he must walk to the always late tagged RTE buses on these dusty streets crammed with tired eyes, dreaming of palm trees, past Joe Camel billboards and hidden seamstress shops sewing designer clothes. Because I believe, even though our first superhero, zip covered from burritos, Snickers, and French fries, will escape to the Hollywood glitz, the cacti and I must stand alone on this side of this dilapidated city, reminiscing of past only rich folk who will not look past their pockets will remember. Because waiting 30 minutes for the bus downtown, he fantasizes how to pluck a redhead wearing a blue blouse this summer, clinging to the evening sea breeze. Because he must believe in his powers, their safety in his webs, living distant from his childhood streets spattered by promises, their promises, and now his. Here in the eddies of secret land grabs and water rights on this dry, hot corridor without skyscrapers, blackening with broken dreams, we take our place among the lost, forgotten potholes, the men and women and children dressed like him. Because he dresses like us, because he is ashamed, because he looks so much like us, he must jump off buildings. Because he believes he can fly, because he is that American hero, the hero who must wear a mask to hide his identity. So the following is actually based on what happened to me once when I was trying to cross over from Tijuana. And it's called Clark at the Border. It's just like I kissed Louis, right? Louis. Right. It's like I kissed Lois Lane just before I left home.
That's Lois.
Lois. Sorry, I have an accent. It's just like I kissed Lois Lane just before I left home, seduced by a dream never meant for me. And I wonder if I have it all wrong, if Superman is not who I am destined to become. I have no blue eyes or a mythic jawline. And although I've been told I came to life unexpectedly, like a comet incinerating the sky, all Superman and me got in common is black hair and a red cape. I am unable to dodge questions as venomous as kryptonite piercing my skin. Instead, I sit counting ceiling tiles and watch the spiders swing out the window. I feel the fear swelling in my parents' prayers behind closed doors. If I close my eyes without crying, could I teleport in the crimson fleet powerful enough to to make them all understand I was born here. In Salvadoran Spanish, Cholco means without teeth. And so this poem is called How Superman Became Cholco. Around the time the phone rang and your mom still hadn't returned from Bakersfield, you tied 2 corners of a yellow towel around your neck. Quizás like the wind you around the living room, the kitchen, and the bathroom, up the table, on the walls. You ran so fast you disappeared in the backyard, except for the copete. It skipped across the top of weeds like a porcupine racing on a pogo stick. I tried calling a coyote in Tijuana, but you reappeared and I couldn't hear the where or when, ni mango con tanta huya, which were flying past the moon, past stars, Mercury, and Pluto. With your dad, while your dad unpacked your PJs and your red Superman Fruit of the Loom and X-ray eyes, you declared the house an evil-free area because El Superman is here. As I backed out of the driveway, you stood con la panza all out, barefoot, top of the sofa, hands to the air, up and away, showing tus chiches and ombligo. And when you woke up the next morning to see your mom and dad off to work, you were all happy, Cholco, with all your missing teeth cradled in your hands. In El Salvador, there's the legend of La Ciguanaba. Some of you guys might confuse her with La Llorona, the woman who weeps by the river before her children, that's La Llorona. In Central America, there's La Ciguanaba, which is the woman who cheated on her husband, and therefore she was cursed to roam the rivers and water areas. And every time she would try to seduce men, and every time they approached her, she would turn into this horrific kind of person, animal, beast. Ciguanaba. She is fire, extinguished by an arrogant sun and a mistrustful sky. In this story, love is sin, she is not woman. In her story, desire is life, love is essence. And in her story, she is no ordinary woman. She is wit, indulging in men's fear. Every year in LA, or not every year, so every about 20 years, it's a cycle that LA is gonna have a major storm. Streets get flooded, and you would think that they would plan for certain things, such as these floods. So you always see cars being flooded, streets being flooded, and loss of life, because apparently they don't know how to plan for major storms every 20 years. So this is based on the 20-year cycle of those rivers, those rainstorms. Rising dreams. With the arrival of autumn came the dreams and rainstorms, and with those dreams we stockpiled discarded tires around the block and in backyards. Every avenue, concrete wash, cemented stream, and paved and unpaved street offered us a glimpse of glory, the chance to conquer the fury of a desert winter. And with that hope, our eyes filled up with fantasies of rain so powerful they flooded streets and cities, and schools were forced to cancel days. In an instant, we would hand over every treasure we hid under beds, in our socks, backs of closets, and we would even hand over our brothers and sisters' belongings if it meant we could, for once in our lives, roll out torn up tires to the sidewalks and river raft the streets, swerve around parked cars, concrete fences, churches, parking dogs, fenced-in windows and freeways, unconcerned with our destination, whether lost in the undercurrents of the river or in the arms of firemen bolstering us out with helicopters. Some of us grew old and died, those mystic dreams buried with us. Others left with our midst of epic rains packed in boxes, and the rest of us stayed and retold our dreams to our children, and soon too they would dream and look to the sky, brown like the worn out earth growing below us. My father told me this. So when 9/11 happened, my father, who was Salvadoreño and who knows the history of U.S. involvement in all the wars in Central America, told me what happened when he said that chickens come home to roost. My father was chastised, insulted, and ridiculed by co-workers because he did not cry, he did not sympathize, and he did not rush fast enough to the nearest target and buy the American flag to boast patriotism on the edge of our door of our home. My father, who carried revolutionary pamphlets in back pockets of jeans spreading anti-government words that could easily get him to be disappeared. My father, who came to the U.S. for a better life. My father, like many Salvadoreños who knew our lives were valued at $1 million daily, has seen the video of General Colin Powell inspect the U.S. trained and funded Salvadoran military. My father, who became a U.S. citizen halfway through the Salvadoran Civil War. My father, who read La Opinión daily for stories of family and countrymen disappearing. My father never received a card or a call from co-workers, a politician, or President Reagan expressing their sympathy for our decade-long grief. My father just simply observed that Americans now knew the cost of lives lost at home. So Roque Dalton is actually the epitome of Salvadoran poetry. And this is written with much love to him and respect, even though it might not sound like it. You, Roque, only you. You are the Roque toast and grinded of my horchata. You are the sweet Roque whose crumbs I lick off my plate with each sip of Nescafe. You are the Roque melting through my every maize pour, sizzling on the grill like my great-grandparents' whispers. You are my plate of Roque fried, annoyed with beans and cream before Mass every Sunday. You are the quintessence Roque loving underneath the ruin in which we fell in love with. You are the most saddest Roque of the Roques in my garden. You are the Roque that punts and shoots the rose in my heart. You are once, twice, 3 times the wet Roque, and I love you when we are together in Guatemala, Mexico, Arizona, the moment shared with every border crossed. You are the Roque I trust in, the blood of suffering people who implores me, begs me, and orders me to stop the repression. You are the son of the great Roque manifested in my language forgotten. You are the Roque that walks my street with swollen beats and black-eyed rhymes. You are the Roque I will build dreams tragic nails will not puncture. You are the Roque of the Pacific that awakens the American dream. You are the Roque that battles my tendency to define myself as a nation. You are the Roque that invites the embracement of all the atoms battling inside me. You are the Roque deferred, festering like a sagging sword set to explode. You are the hidden Roque, broken, exiled in revolution thighs before returning home. You are not my first Roque, or my last. What's there to say? You are the Roque ocean stepping out of my dreams and into my 1993 Carmi Excel. Yes, I'm talking to you, Roque. You are the very kinky kind of Roque you don't take home to mother. You are a magical Roque ready to reverse the conquest back to its origins with bicycle kicks, scoops, and tricks only to be massacred when we step onto the fields again. You're the Roque man, can do whatever a Roque can. Spin the web in the sky, break it gel any side. Look out, here comes the Roque man. You're the only Roque, and alone in loving you, reciting your name in all times of the night I forget that I throw myself to drunkenness and perdition. And finally, I'm going to read an 80s poem. And it's called You Bring Out the 80s. The red leather jacket in me, sleeve zipper with your name in me. The Arsenio Hall dog pound woot woot in me. The Cabbage Patch dancing in me. The freaks come out at night in me. The breaking on cardboard dance floors in me. The message in me. The pet rock in me. The Saturday afternoon kung fu theater starting Bruce Lee on Channel 5 in me. the Siempre en Domingo con Raúl Velasco in me. The Aquanet and Cha-Cha hair, proud, strong in the Suzuki Samurai cruising Lark Canyon in me. The Rubik's Cube in me, the Iced Tea in me, the Pac-Man in me, looking for the Miss Pac-Man in me. The Little Mac with green boxing gloves, trying everything but giving up in me. The dream of what you won't do, you do for love in me. The Lisa Stanfield in me, searching for the I don't know why you've gone so far away. And the NWA in me, expressing myself before it was safe in me. The creased khakis, the flannel shirt, and the humming Amio puppet in me. The news of Challenger Space Shuttle in me, heard over the intercom in Mr. Morgan's English class in me. That it's so hot out here, we slept outside in me, and don't worry because the Night Stalker has better bodies to stalk in Pacoima in me. The Whittier Earthquake in me, the Homer Simpson in me, tormented like me over the blue hair, pretty young thing, repeat after me. The Nevermore in me, the Astro Smurf, the Popeye, and the Jerry Lewis in me, the Choose Your Adventure books in me, the boombox in me, playing on the rainy day in me, to the empty window in me, the Timmy T, the Stevie B, wondering if I take you home. Will you still be the battlefield, the Berlin Wall, the Salvadoran War in me, the El Mago Gonzalez playing in Spain at the World Cup in me, the Fernando Mania and Jaime Harim in me, the Donnie Moore one strike away from the 86 World Series in me, the What Goes Around Comes Around Bill Buckner in me, the Lou Diamond Phillips lip sync of Oh Donna at the telephone booth in me, the Converse Chuck Killers at a Payless True Cells in me, the ColecoVision, the Martha Ratner in me, the Ducky dancing like it ain't no thing at the music store in me, the Al Pacino thinking he was out but they pulled him back in without an Academy Award for The Godfather 3 in me, the Poncherello, the Gloria Saldúa, the Elui, the This Is For La Raza, the Poema de Amor in me, the Now We Gonna Call in me, the I Ain't Missing You At All. Since you've been gone away, playing over and over no matter what my friends might say in me. Thank you.
That was great, Harold. Thank you so much. Let's give him another round of applause. Okay, so that's it for the first half. We're going to have a 10-minute intermission. Support our hosts, talk amongst yourselves, and come back for the second half. We still have lots of good poets to read. Oh, and I should say Great Pond will now take over as next.
Hey, how are you doing? Good. My name's Britt. That's so nice to meet you.
I know, yeah, there's no problem, no problem. Okay.
That was a great feature. Hey, how are you doing today? I'm Rich. What is it? Liz, nice to meet you. What's that? Greg, how are you doing?
Oh, we're from New York.
Yeah.
No, that was my window there. Yeah, this is very cool.
Been here about 6 times this year.
Yeah, just
Down the road.
Are you going right after the break?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Now back to the answers. That's okay, because I
Yeah, I mean, my parents live in the area.
Would be nice if
we just show up. She's the host, so I like that. I read her own stuff. She gave it to me.
Oh, yeah.
You know her? No. Yeah. This isn't the one. I get that away. She does this everywhere. This is just marvelous.
Cecil just comes in, that's where years old, snakes run by.
Oh, really? Oh, so she's the person. That's really nice. I thought she was just doing kids. She had a kid's book out that was very good. She made a lot of money.
So the children
Other women, something about Women's Day, I stumbled into it, I guess more I talked with her after she was charming, she's so charming, I fell in love with her. Then I found out who she was. Just married to Cecil. Oh, that's